So love is one of those really tricky things. You might feel like you're in love in the moment, you might have fallen in love, but the question that we want to talk about today is how do you know if it's true love? And how do you know when you're just like full of it? So if you've ever had this question, or if you're in the middle of a relationship right now and you're wondering, is it real, true love? Then stay tuned.
Intro.
Okay. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Justin.
And I'm Emily.
And you are watching That Christian Vlogger. Now on this channel, our goal is to help you understand the Bible and to help you apply it to your day-to-day life. And today, what are we talking about, babe?
We're talking about how do you know when you're really in love? Like, what does true love even mean?
I know for me that this is definitely something that has taken me, I think, years and years to try and figure out.
Yeah, same
I can
here.
think of when I was younger, falling in love and feeling like I was in love. Did you ever have that moment?
Well, especially when I first started dating you, I really had those feelings of love.
Had?
No, like, I really had those butterflies all the time. Like, I'd even get a text message and I'd have those butterflies. Like, I want to respond right away.
And now it's just gas or what?
Stop.
But did you ever have the whole puppy love experience growing up?
Yeah, for sure.
Can you remember a moment where you can kind of sum up that?
Yeah, just having crushes all the time and on people in my class or something like that. Just having those feelings that I'd always want to sit by them at lunch or,
When was the
that.
earliest you remember having that kind of loving feeling?
Probably second grade.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Well, you were a little bit older than the rest of your class, so.
Stop.
So
Yeah.
the first time that I ever said I love you to someone, I was probably 14 or 15 years old. There was this girl that I was dating, or not actually even dating at the time. We were going on our first date. We went to Disneyland because it was in Southern California, and that's the romantic thing to do. And I was planning on waiting until the fireworks were happening. I thought that would be the most picturesque moment to ask her to be my girlfriend. Fireworks are literally going off, and then to ask her to be my girlfriend. So I do that. She says yes. And as lame as it is, because we're in high school, we're 14, 15 years old. After Disneyland, her mom picks us up and drives us home, and we're sitting in the back of her her van or whatever the case is, hugging or cuddling or whatever the case is. And I was just so filled with the emotions and the butterflies and everything else like that. Here I am dating this girl for all of an hour or 2 hours. And I'm tell her I love you. Because I felt like I had loved her.
Yeah.
But clearly, in hindsight, that's not love. That was just emotions. Those were just feelings in the moments. And I think that this is an important thing to distinguish between genuine, true love and just, the spur of the moment in that moment. The Bible talks about how our hearts are deceitful and wicked above all things. That because of sin, our hearts aren't always the most reliable guides in our lives.
Yeah.
And I know that that's definitely been the case for me. Because of love, I've done some foolish things, or I've made mistakes that I've, looked back and I've regretted.
Yeah, and even with love or anger, you're going off your feeling, and the result end of it is usually not positive.
No, usually when you're ruled by your emotions, it's a bad result.
Yeah, and I definitely have had that in my life. I had to learn how to not go off my emotions and use my head a little bit more and pray about things more.
Yeah, and I think that's something that comes with maturity. That's something that comes with age, especially when I was younger. And I'm not saying that I'm great at it now. I mean, you know this.
Yeah.
But especially as I'm younger, it's harder to act on principle as opposed to emotion. But as followers of Jesus, that's super, super important for us to do. So let me ask you the question. Let's throw it to you. How do you determine if it's real love versus just feelings that are kind of going wrong?
By the way I want to treat them, how I want to spend my time with them. I put them first instead of myself first. So it's very sacrificial. It's a choice to do that. And a lot of times when you do that, the feelings come with it eventually. No, or it depends. Sometimes you don't feel putting that person first after a fight or something, but the feelings will come back when you start to act with the choice of love. So
what you're saying is that love is not so much an emotion, love is an action? Is that what you're saying?
Love is an action and a choice, a decision.
A decision. I like that a lot. And that makes a lot of sense when we look at the example of Jesus in the Bible, right? Clearly Jesus loves us. I think he even said, no one has greater love than this, if they lay their lives down for other people. And we see that in the life of Jesus. He lived sacrificially, he served other people, and he really like put himself out there because he loved people. I think we were talking about this yesterday at church, the Garden of Gethsemane. When Jesus is about to go to the cross, what does he pray? He says, God, I don't want to do this, let this cup pass from me, is what he says, but not as I will, but what?
As your will be done.
As you will. In other words, Jesus didn't want to go to the cross. He was scared. He was terrified. He really did not want to do it. But he chose not to act on his emotions and his feelings. He chose to act on principle, and he decided, that's that love word that you were talking about, decision, right? He acted on it even though his feelings were telling him the opposite. And so I think that's super important when it comes to evaluating your own relationships. Is it true love? Well, let me ask you this. Are you willing to put the other person first, or are you looking for yourself? Is love in a relationship with a boyfriend, girlfriend, or just anyone in general, is love about what you can get, or is love about what you can give? And that's a really good way to kind of determine if it's true love or not.
Yeah. Do you think that's why there's so many divorces nowadays? Like, even outside the church, within the church, like, people just are not putting the other person
I think that's definitely part of it. I mean, even in our relationship, whenever we have fights, it's usually because I'm choosing in that moment to only look at it from my perspective.
Yeah.
And when I can kind of like calm down for a little bit and breathe, a little bit, the whole goose, fra bra, or whatever, just kind of relax, right? And then I'm able to see the experience through your eyes, then I have empathy.
Yeah.
Then I can say, you know what? There's something bigger at play, and it's not all about me all the time, but it's about you. And that's what our marriage vows are about, right? It's about loving and serving the other person. That's what we commit to. And it's so easy to forget that in the heat of the moment when our emotions are getting all like wired up. So we wanted to share with you guys a verse. It's in Romans chapter 12, verses 9 and 10 that I think speaks really well to this true love thing. It says here, let love be genuine. That's a really important word, genuine, true love, right? Let love be genuine. Abhor what is evil, hold fast to that which is good. And he goes, love one another with brotherly affection. And then it says, outdo one another in showing honor. So this isn't necessarily like romantic love, because it's brotherly love, but it's the same principle. Love other people by outdoing them in good deeds. Love is about what you can give, not about what you can get.
Yeah, for sure. And hopefully if you're in a marriage relationship that's equally yoked, it goes both ways. It's not like you're just drying yourself ragged just from giving and giving and giving, and you're not filled.
Yeah, and it reminds me of what we spoke about a couple of weeks ago when we talked about, why does God care who you date? Yeah. Because imagine you have this picture of love, right? You have this idea and this understanding of love as a follower of Jesus, where you say, that's what I want to do. I want to serve the other person. But the other person doesn't have this worldview. For them, love is about what I can get from you. It's about what I can extract value from you. Yeah. So you're giving, and they're only like sucking you dry. Yeah. Where does that leave you down the line? That leaves you depleted and burnt out and jaded and frustrated with your relationship.
Yeah, for sure.
And so we want to encourage any of you guys who are in a relationship right now or contemplating a potential relationship, evaluate this not on your feelings, evaluate it on principle. Are you willing to lay your life down, not just in like a blaze of glory, but moment by moment by moment? Because every single day that you wake up is an opportunity to serve the other person. All right, well, there you guys have it. I know that that's a little bit of a tough thing to hear, that maybe the love that you're experiencing isn't true love. So I want to know from you guys, are there any other ways that you can determine if it's true love or not? Ones that maybe Emily and I didn't mention in this video, let us know in the comment section below. But again, we want to give a huge shout out to audible.com for sponsoring this episode. If you go to audibletrial.com/thatchristianvlogger, you can get a free audiobook for yourself and support this channel as well. So as we like to say, until next time, I'm That Christian Vlogger, and I want to encourage you to experience faith in the first person. God bless.